Hi, my name's Megan Conrady, and I am just here presenting about kind of understanding the concept of burnout. Um, this is something that is a little bit close to my heart right now because I thought I was in the midst of a burnout. Turns out I'm just overly stressed after I started doing the research for this speech. So let's talk about it. What is burnout? Burnout is just a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion, often resulting from prolonged exposure to stress. It primarily affects individuals in high stress or demanding work environments. It can also occur in other areas of your life. So it can be it could show up in all kinds of ways in different people. Um, 89% of Americans have actually suffered from burnout this past year. So, some of the things that kind of represent some physical aspects of burnout is physical fatigue. About 44% of people felt the physical fatigue of it, cognitive weariness, um, emotional exhaustion, just kind of being um, not really present in the moment, lack of interest, motivation, or energy, and a lack of effort at work. So, emotional exhaustion, it's the core component of burnout. Individuals experiencing it, they feel drained, overwhelmed, oftentimes are short, don't have a lot of patience, or they could just become detached, like staring at your phone all the time or just zoning out to watch TV or movies and not being really present. Cynicism is also a sign. People often develop like negative and cynical attitude towards work and people that they work with and just kind of the world in general. Kind of one of those attitudes where like everybody else is doing something wrong or, drivers getting mad. I get mad in traffic. That's one of my things. And reduce personal accomplishment. Burnout can lead to just diminished sense of personal accomplishment and competence in one's work. So it's just kind of you start thinking that like you're not good enough and nothing you do is going to be good enough, and you're just constantly trying to do more and more. Common causes, contributing factors, excessive workload. That's probably the main one, the top one, being consistently overburdened at work. If you work someplace where it's very short staffed and there's no really end in sight, that's kind of something that I have dealt with. Lack of control, feeling powerless or having limited autonomy, meaning that like you feel like you can't make your own decisions. Lack of recognition, so kind of perceiving um, that nobody notices anything that you're doing. I think sometimes as a mom, sometimes I feel that way. You kind of do all of the things and nobody says thank you. And poor work-life balance. I think a lot of people suffer from that. It's easy to fall into that. It's easy to not know how to balance, and it's a constant work in progress. There is a difference, though, between stress and burnout. So, like I said, I thought that I was suffering from burnout. I am in school full time. I also work a full time job and two part time jobs outside of that. I have three children that are teenagers and they're all involved in extracurricular activities. So, this semester has been really overwhelming. And I thought I had a nervous breakdown. Not really, but I thought I was suffering from burnout. But once I started kind of reading about it, I think it's just overly stressed because um, my suffering, I guess, will end at a certain time. Like when this semester is over, that I will be a little less burdened. My daughter's in marching band, so that's coming to an end. I've lessened my class load for next semester, and one of my part-time jobs is teaching group fitness exercise, and I took on an extra class for 12 weeks. That's going to be coming to an end. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel for me. So I think I am just in the stress category, not so much the burnout category, but some differences. Um, so stress over engagement, that's kind of where I was. I said yes to everything and I needed to say no to a few more things, but burnout is more disengagement, which means that you're pulling back and you're kind of not doing anything. Your emotions are overreactive with stress, and with burnout, it's more blunted. You're more just kind of apathetic. Um, so stress can produce urgency and hyperactivity, whereas burnout produces helplessness and hopelessness. And that's kind of where I was like, okay, well, I don't feel hopeless. I don't feel helpless. But I can really relate to the urgency and hyperactivity. Loss of energy for stress. For burnout, it's more loss of motivation, ideals, and hope, which that's pretty serious. Burnout is a pretty serious thing. It's pretty deep, and it's a little bit more ongoing and permanent than just stress. Stress can lead to anxiety disorders, and burnout can lead to detachment and depression. So one of the things in dealing with burnout is the 3R approach. So there's recognize, reverse, and resilience. So recognize is that you need to watch for the warning signs. So you need to take those signs that were over there in the column of burnout and just kind of be self-aware and know if you're reaching that point. Um, Reverse, you need to try to undo the damage by seeking support and managing stress. So that could be, we'll get into a few more things here in the next couple of slides, but working out, a healthy diet, seeking counseling, um, just talking even just to a close friend. And resilience, you build your resilience to stress by taking care of your physical and emotional health. So it's kind of all plays into a part there. Um, some other tips is turning to other people. Like I said, counselors, professional would probably be the best thing to do, but also just a trusted friend or coworker or family member. Making exercise a priority. When you are stressed or burnout, you don't feel like you have the energy to do that, but it's just kind of this cycle where, if you're not physically active, that really helps to, I mean, even like it says dancing has been proven to kind of, well, all exercise really, to kind of heighten the feel good hormones in your body. So I know I always feel better after a workout. One of my, like I said, I'm a group fitness instructor, and I just always feel so much better even when I don't feel like going in and working out. You feel better after, and it helps you in the long run to deal with those excuse me, emotions and feelings. I'm reevaluating your priorities. So you need to be able to set boundaries. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to make rest a priority. That's one of the things we kind of live in this world where it's just go, 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 go all the time. And if we're resting, we feel like we're not productive, but resting is a productive activity. And then reframing the way that you look at work. You try to find some value in your work, but also it's not all that you are. So, a healthy diet, obviously, limiting sugar intake and refined carbs, those are things that make us feel good in the moment, but they don't nourish our body very well. Reducing caffeine and unhealthy fats. Caffeine can raise your heart rate, and in turn, it can usually like raise your cortisol levels and your hormones and things like that. You want to keep kind of under control. Um, your omega-3s will help boost your mood, so you definitely want to have more of those. And nicotine and alcohol are just kind of like alcohol, especially if you're experiencing any kind of mental health or hormonal issues, alcohol is really just pouring like gasoline onto the flames of your symptoms. Um, especially if it's hormonal, you definitely want to avoid alcohol if you're having any kind of hormonal imbalances. So, in summary, addressing burnout and stress, it requires an approach that involves everybody. So you need to make sure that you're talking, that you're being open, that you're, letting your supervisors or your coworkers know I'm under a lot of stress right now. So I may not be myself, but I'm trying to deal with it as best as I can. Make sure that you put things in your life that will help prevent feeling overly stressed. You need to have self-care, even if it's just 30 minutes a day of reading a book. That's what I do at the end of the day. I make myself read something that I want to read for 30 minutes, and that's it. It calms me. It's something that I look forward to, and it's non-negotiable. You really have to advocate for yourself. And it's our responsibility to take action and work towards a world where burnout and stress are not only recognized but actively addressed. That we don't need to have a stigma anymore on mental health or stress. And we also need to not be shooting for stress being something that we're proud of. If you're stressed out, that's not a good thing. We need to make sure that we are addressing it in the way that it needs to be addressed. Thank you.